Hello, YouTube! My name is Scott, and I just got around to watching Cobra Kai. Season 4 ended with episode 10, which is called The Rise, in distinct contrast to The Fall. And there's just so many twists and turns and character development and growth. It's a really great finale. I can almost forgive them for stretching it over 2 episodes. It starts off with a pretty decent misdirect, though. See, the very end of the last episode, Miguel's lying on the ground in pain, screaming for Johnny. So when they start this one in a hospital, you start thinking, oh no, Miguel's paralyzed again or something. The thing is, after a slow pan over the hospital bed, you realize it's Stingray. And you're like, wow, Silver really did a number on him, didn't he? Yes, he did, and we will get back to that. Because we got to get back to the All Valley. See, it turns out that Miguel just pulled a muscle in his back, which is really, really good news. And it's possible that he could fight again. Or, well, keep fighting anyway. Because really his match against Hawk is just paused. So, after talking to Johnny, who really makes it seem like this is about more than just Miguel, Miguel realizes, he's not really fighting for himself anymore. So time runs out and he doesn't come back to the mat, which means Hawk wins by default. And that means he has to face Robbie in the finals. Now, as for Robbie, he was already kind of wavering. It kind of seemed like after talking with Daniel, seeing his father, he was going to be, if not totally switching sides, definitely suffering some pangs of conscience. And it turned out that the deciding factor was Kenny. See, Anthony went to apologize to him for being a bully to him. Kenny didn't want to hear it, because Kenny was full-on Cobra Kai. And he's in the middle of giving Anthony a beatdown when Robbie came in and pulled him off of him. And when Robbie realized, Anthony LaRusso was his bully, it was just, you could practically see the change come over him. So then Robbie and Hawk are facing off in the finals. And it was, I assume, a pretty technically good fight. They each scored a point, and then they just battled back and forth. It's constant blocks, attacks, defense, offense. Hawk wasn't entirely sure how he was going to beat Robbie, because Robbie had been in Miyagi-Do longer. But Daniel pointed out that he had been at Cobra Kai longer. And to, use that. They were pretty evenly matched. I mean, Robbie's gi came untied at one point, and he took it off, and Hawk took his off, so, you could see the huge tattoo on his back. They fought for so long that the time limit for the match ran out, and they went to a sudden death competition, where the next point would win. And, Robbie fought it straight. He fought with honor. He wasn't trying to pick up, an unearned point or cheat or anything. And it turned out he lost. Hawk is now the boys' champion of the All Valley. Thing about that, which I'll get to in a minute. The final match between the girls was Sam and Tori. Are we really surprised? As it turns out, Amanda went to give Tori a little talk before the match about playing by the rules, even if she didn't understand them. Because, she can see that Tori's trying to better herself, and she should really, extend that to all aspects of her life, like fighting honorably. So, the match. Sam doesn't know what she's going to do, and it turns out she has both Daniel and Johnny in her corner, because they have both been her senseis. And, they're telling her to... Well, Daniel's telling her to trust her instincts, and she gets inspirational, speeches from both of them. And the fight is pretty evenly matched. I couldn't tell you in which order the points were scored, because I don't exactly remember. What I do remember is it looked like Sam scored a point at one point, but Tori's foot was out of bounds, so it didn't count. And I can tell you at another point, Tori did accidentally elbow Sam in one eye. It was a total accident. She admitted this to everybody. But it only resulted in a warning, no points being taken away. And at the end, I wouldn't say Tori got lucky, but she scored the final point. And Cobra Kai won the girls' division, which meant that by the rules of the tournament, Cobra Kai became grand champion. And this is where all the twists and turns start. For one thing, due to the agreement between Daniel and Johnny and Silver and Kreese, Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang aren't dojos anymore. Silver actually took the time at the tournament to talk about expanding Cobra Kai dojos to the rest of the valley. Miguel, it turns out, wasn't even there. Apparently, he had taken an Uber home at some point. While Cobra Kai is, planning their victory party, Tori goes back to get her bag, and she found out that Silver paid off the ref. So this was kind of a foregone conclusion no matter what. So it's pretty safe to say she'll be switching sides too. Sides to what? Well, I don't know yet. So Johnny goes back to Cobra Kai. I don't know why. I think because the sign said space for lease. And he walks in and it's empty, and the only things there is really the strike first, strike hard, no mercy thing he painted on the wall. And then Robbie shows up, and they have a heart-to-heart, and Robbie realized that he thought he was doing the right thing with Kenny, but then what Kenny did to Anthony. And they reconcile, and that's great. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there with Johnny between his actual son and the kid he actually considers a son. But we won't be finding that out yet, because there was some talk about the past, like that whole thing Miguel was telling Johnny about finding his father. Seems Miguel is now on a mission to find his own father. He left a note at home, and he took off on a bus destined for Mexico City, and I guess we're all supposed to pretend that, I'm just going to say, a kid that looks like him isn't going to have any trouble getting back into the country. It's a nice thought, but it's gonna get skated over. We all know this. Now, as it turns out, Silver did more than just pay off the ref. Remember what I said about Stingray? Silver beat the crap out of him? Yeah. There was this very convenient talk about weaknesses between Silver and Kreese. Apparently, Kreese's weakness is Johnny. And you can kind of tell during the girls' fight, because there's this one point where Kreese looks over and there's a flashback to when he beat up Johnny for getting second place. And he kind of told Tori to go easy. So I guess maybe Silver could see that, and, Silver realized that Johnny's Kreese's weakness. And Silver's weakness is Kreese, because you can always count on him to play that guilt card from Vietnam. So Silver decided to remove his weakness by framing Kreese for beating Stingray half to death. It worked. So, yeah. Oh, and the very last thing that happened, Daniel's kneeling at Mr. Miyagi's grave talking to him, or at least you think he is. Because the very last bit of it, he stands up and asks if someone will help him to stop Cobra Kai. And you pan over, and it's Chosen! He came from Japan to help stop the spread of karate dojos in the valley, because that makes sense. But at least he's got somebody else there who knows Miyagi-Do. Like I said, twists and turns, peaks and valleys, character development all over the place. This was a really great way for them to end off the season. And bring on season 5. Because I am almost to the point where I'm caught up. What am I going to do then? Anyway, that's what I thought. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below, like the video, share it around, subscribe if you're so inclined. Hit the bell button for notifications for the next time a video goes up. And until next time, I have been Scott, and this has been Just Got Around to Watching, an offshoot of opinions no one cares about. Everyone has opinions. This one was mine.